Life. We often imagine it as a sequence of accidental events, a chain of coincidences thrown at us without meaning or purpose. But Carl Gustav Jung offered a radically different idea, one that carries the power to transform the way you understand your own existence. Life does not happen to you, it happens through you. At first, this sounds poetic, maybe even abstract. But beneath these words lies a profound psychological truth. You believe you are the one who experiences life. But what if it's the other way around? What if life is experiencing itself through you? Jung spent decades studying dreams, symbols, traumas, synchronicities, and the inner worlds of thousands of people. And he discovered a pattern. Life is not chaos. Life has structure. Life has direction. Life has intention. Your joys, your wounds, your losses, the people who enter your life and the ones who leave none of it is random. Life uses every moment as material to awaken what sleeps within you. We are born psychologically, unconsciously, but unaware, feeling but not understanding. A repeating life pattern signals something inside us seeking recognition. A crisis that breaks us is often the moment unconscious material pushes to the surface, demanding our awareness. Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." So much of what you call misfortune is actually communication, a dialogue between your deeper self and the life you see outside. A person who repeatedly experiences the same kind of heartbreak is not cursed. They are confronting the archetype of abandonment within their own psyche. The outer events differ, but the inner process is the same. Life uses circumstances to reveal what you hide from yourself, and this changes everything. It means suffering is not a punishment, it's part of a psychological and spiritual evolution. It means challenges are not just obstacles, they are invitations. A dream you ignore is your unconscious trying to speak. A coincidence that makes you pause is your inner and outer worlds synchronizing. A crisis that shatters your identity is often the very moment your deeper self is trying to emerge. Jung experienced this himself in his personal journal, The Red Book. He wrote that he realized something shocking. He was not simply Carl Jung having visions. He was the channel through which the collective unconscious was becoming aware of itself. Life was using him to know itself. Now, ask yourself, what if everything you're facing right now is not chaos, not bad luck, not random suffering, but a structured process of becoming? What if life isn't testing you, but unfolding you? What if your pain is a threshold, your confusion a rearrangement, your crisis a turning point? Because the moment you shift your perspective, everything changes. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you begin to ask, what is life trying to reveal through this? Life is not outside you. Life is not against you. Life is not random. Life is you. and you are the way life becomes conscious. This is the beginning of Jung's greatest insight, the beginning of your journey inward. Thank you for watching. Most people believe their suffering comes from the outside world. Stressful jobs, painful relationships, unexpected losses, or just bad luck. But as the great psychologist Carl Jung discovered, the true battlefield of human life is not external. It is an inner tension, an invisible conflict between the ego and the self. The ego is the identity you present to the world. It's your name, your personality, your preferences, your fears, and your ambitions. It's the mask you wear. It's that voice in your head that constantly says, I am this. This is what I want. This is who I must be. But the self is something infinitely deeper. It is the totality of your psyche. It includes your conscious mind, but also your unconscious depths, your instincts, your wounds, your hidden potential, and the ancient inner intelligence that guides you toward wholeness. Think of it this way: the ego is a surface wave, but the self is the entire ocean beneath it. This tension, this pull between what you think you are and what you truly are, shapes every major turning point of your life. First, let's understand their core difference. The ego seeks control. It wants stability, comfort, predictability, safety, and structure. On the other hand, the self seeks truth. It wants authenticity, expansion, and transformation, even if that means disrupting everything you find familiar. This is exactly why your life sometimes collapses at the very moment you think you finally have it all under control. A relationship suddenly breaks apart. A career loses all its meaning. A dream you've chased for years dissolves into emptiness. A sudden crisis shakes you awake. To the ego, this feels like a devastating loss. But to the self, it is a correction. It is the necessary collapse of an identity that can no longer contain your deeper truth. As Jung observed, when the ego becomes too rigid or too false, the self intervenes. It doesn't do this to punish you, but to free you. So, think of a crisis as a message from the self. Think back to the moments that shattered you, the heartbreak that left you breathless, the betrayal that crushed your trust, the job loss that terrified you, the phase of emptiness where nothing felt meaningful anymore. To the ego, these are catastrophes, but to the self, they are initiations into a new way of being. Jung noticed that people often begin to awaken not in their moments of success, but in their moments of collapse. A crisis is not chaos, it is communication. It's the self whispering, or sometimes screaming. Something within you is ready to evolve. The ego desperately clings to the past, while the self pushes you toward the future. Their tension becomes the emotional weather of your life. One of Jung's most profound insights was that the first half of life often belongs to the ego, while the second half belongs to the self. In the first half, we build, we establish an identity, a career, a family, and a reputation. But somewhere around midlife, sometimes quietly, sometimes with an explosion, that entire architecture begins to crack. Old ambitions lose their meaning. Old identities feel too small. Old dreams no longer inspire you. This is not failure. This is transformation. The ego calls it a midlife crisis. The self calls it a transition. It is the moment the deeper part of you steps forward and demands a more authentic life. Even Jung himself was not immune to this tension. His ego wanted the predictable, respectable path, a successful doctor, a professor, Sigmund Freud's intellectual heir. But his self pulled him into the unknown. It drew him into visions, symbols, and dreams. This led to the creation of his legendary Red Book, a journey so intense it nearly shattered him. He wrote that he felt as if he were dissolving, but it was through this dissolution that his truest, most important work emerged. This inner conflict is not a sickness. It is the very engine of our psychological evolution. So, why does this matter for you right now? Every painful turning point in your life carries a hidden message. It's a sign that your ego is holding on too tightly while your self is trying to grow. You are not being punished. You are being transformed. Your task is not to destroy the ego or to blindly obey the self. Your task is to become conscious of this inner polarity, to hear the dialogue between them, to recognize the meaning in the tension, and to understand that growth often feels like falling apart from the inside. Because the self never aims for your comfort. The self aims for your wholeness, and wholeness begins the moment you understand this sacred inner battle. Thanks for watching. Most people think they're just living their lives day by day. But what if I told you that you're not just living? You're living inside a story, a personal myth that your own mind is constantly writing. You don't see reality directly. You see it through this mytha narrative, woven from your earliest childhood impressions, hidden emotions, and the deep, ancient architecture of your unconscious mind. Every single person carries an internal story, and that story quietly dictates how you interpret every joy, every loss, every relationship, and every crisis you face. Think about it. Some people live the myth of the hero, always fighting, always proving themselves, constantly struggling forward. Others live the myth of the victim, convinced that life is always conspiring against them, where even a neutral event becomes another piece of evidence for their persecution. Some embody the martyr, endlessly sacrificing their own needs in the quiet hope that their suffering will finally earn them love. And others walk the path of the wanderer, forever searching on the outside for something that can only ever be found within. The events in our lives might be similar, but the meaning we give them comes directly from the myth we carry. This was the great insight of the psychologist Carl Jung. He taught that we don't choose these narratives consciously. They rise up from our unconscious, from emotional patterns formed in our early life, and from archetypal patterns that are older than any civilization. A person who deeply believes everyone abandons me will unconsciously choose unavailable partners. They'll misinterpret kindness as manipulation and turn simple misunderstandings into proof that the world is an unsafe place. They think their fate is cruel, but the truth is much simpler They are living inside the myth of abandonment, and everything they see just confirms that story. Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." You aren't imprisoned by the events of your life. You are imprisoned by the narrative through which you interpret them. But here's the powerful part. The moment you recognize the myth you're living in, you stop being just a character in a script, and you become a co-author of your own life. This doesn't mean you have to reject your story. A person can't live without meaning. But when the story becomes conscious, you gain the ability to reshape it. You can shift from tragedy to transformation, from fear to purpose. Your relationships, your repeating patterns, your deepest longings, they are all just scenes in a larger inner tale. And so, the most crucial spiritual task is to ask yourself, what myth am I living? Is it the myth of the wounded child, of the lost seeker, of the outsider? Or maybe it's the myth of the reborn self, the one who faces the darkness and emerges whole. Jung understood his own life as a myth, not a fantasy, but a destiny. He saw himself as an explorer of the unconscious, walking a path no one had walked before, mapping the inner world for all of humanity. Your life also follows a mythic arc, not because it's dramatic, but because the human psyche is structured like a story. When you finally recognize the narrative that's been guiding you, life stops feeling like chaos. It begins to feel remarkably intentional. Your inner myth is not your prison. It is your path, but only if you choose to walk it consciously. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, please consider subscribing for more journeys into the inner world. There comes a moment in every person's life when the familiar identity starts to fracture. The mask you've worn for years grows tight. The story you've repeated to yourself stops sounding true. The goals that once felt so important begin to dissolve. This isn't failure. This is the beginning, as Carl Jung described it. This is the start of individuation, the deepest psychological and spiritual journey of all. The journey of becoming whole. Individuation doesn't mean becoming perfect. It means becoming authentic. It means reclaiming every part of yourself that you lost, rejected, or hid away. And every journey of becoming whole begins with a descent. The first step is entering the shadow. The shadow isn't your darkness. It is your unlived life. It contains everything you pushed away to survive. Your anger, your power, your creativity, your vulnerability, your fear, your truth. As a child, you learned which parts of you were acceptable and which parts needed to be locked away. The shadow held them all. Jung said, "The shadow is 90% pure gold, not because it's pleasant, but because it holds the energy you abandoned to stay loved. But when the shadow is ignored, it controls your life from behind the curtain. It shows up as repeated heartbreak, explosive anger, depression, addictions, self-sabotage, toxic relationships, and irrational fears. You think you're fighting the world, but really you are wrestling with your own rejected self. True transformation begins only when you finally turn toward the shadow and whisper, "I am ready to see you." After the shadow comes another necessary initiation, the meeting with the anima, your inner feminine, and the animus, your inner masculine. Jung believed that no psyche is whole until it integrates both its inner masculine clarity and its inner feminine intuition. This is why relationships, especially the painful ones, are such powerful teachers. You aren't just falling in love with another person. You are meeting the hidden parts of yourself in the mirror of another soul. The anima appears in a man's dreams, fantasies, and emotions. She is the doorway to his feeling life, his intuition, and his creativity. The animus appears in a woman's thoughts, ambitions, and judgments. He is the doorway to her structure, focus, and direction. When these inner figures are unconscious, they take over relationships like tricksters, creating obsession, projection, and conflict. But when they become conscious, they become powerful allies. They lead you toward depth, maturity, and inner balance. This integration isn't a luxury. It is a requirement of individuation. After the descent into shadow and the confrontation with the inner feminine and masculine, something extraordinary happens. The self begins to emerge. Not the ego, not the persona, but the deep center of the psyche that holds wisdom older than your personal story. Jung saw the self appear in powerful dreams, synchronicities, symbols, and overwhelming moments of clarity. This is the stage where life itself becomes symbolic. The world begins to speak to you in images. Your experiences form a coherent pattern. Your suffering reveals its purpose. The self isn't a destination, it is a presence. It whispers, everything you rejected is part of your wholeness. And when you hear this whisper, your life begins to transform from the inside out. Individuation is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you were before the world taught you to be small. It is the reconciliation of opposites within you. Your light and your shadow, your strength and your tenderness, your masculine and feminine, your fear and your purpose. You don't fix yourself, you reclaim yourself. And when the self guides you, life stops being a chain of crises and becomes a meaningful journey. Your wounds stop being enemies and become teachers. Your past stops being a prison and becomes a foundation. Your darkness stops being a threat and becomes a source of power. This is individuation, the greatest work any human can do. As Jung wrote, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And the path toward becoming always begins with courage. The courage to descend into your own depths and rise again as something whole. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more journeys into the depths of the human experience. What if your life isn't something that's happening to you, but something happening through you? This is a profound realization that human life is the way consciousness learns about itself. Not in theory, but through youth, through your joys, your fears, your losses, and your love. Consciousness can't know heartbreak without a human heart. It can't understand courage without someone who dares to stand up again after falling. It can't discover forgiveness unless someone suffers enough to finally open that door. This means your life is not accidental. You are the sacred meeting point where the vast, timeless field of consciousness touches the very real limits of human experience. Every single moment becomes sacred when you understand this. We tend to identify with the voice in our heads, that running monologue of narratives, fears, hopes, and the endless mental rehearsals of life. But what if that voice isn't you? What if you are the awareness that hears the voice? You are the silent witness behind every thought, every emotion, every memory. When you confuse yourself with that voice, you become trapped in a narrow identity. But when you simply rest in awareness, you feel the vastness behind your personality, the deep, silent presence observing your entire life. This presence isn't born, and it doesn't die. It simply unfolds through you. From this perspective, pain is not meaningless. It's the contraction just before the expansion. Every time you feel heartbreak, consciousness learns about love. Every time you feel fear, consciousness learns about courage. Every time you face loss, consciousness learns about impermanence. You are not suffering alone. Your suffering is how the universe experiences itself through a single, unrepeatable lens, through the story only you can live. That's why the darkest moments often carry the deepest intelligence. They aren't punishments, they are initiations. As you grow more aware, something strange begins to happen. The outer world starts to mirror your inner world. This is synchronicity moments, where meaning appears in events so precisely that coincidence feels impossible. A dream foreshadows a meeting you have the next day. A stranger says exactly what you needed to hear at the perfect time. A particular symbol repeats itself across your day, catching your eye again and again. Synchronicity is the self communicating through reality. It's the universe speaking in symbols, revealing that it was never separate from you at all. So, what is the real purpose of life? It's not success, not happiness, not even certainty, it's awareness. The purpose is to become conscious of the unconscious, to illuminate the hidden depths of your own psyche, and to turn life from a sequence of accidents into a meaningful expression of the soul. Life isn't asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be awake, to see the story you are living, to hear your shadow knocking at the door, to feel your true self emerging, to recognize the myth hidden in your personal journey. Your individuality is not a prison, it is a window through which the universe observes itself, a window through which consciousness touches form. Your duty is not to become anyone else. Your duty is to become fully yourself, because no one else in all of time can offer consciousness the experience of being you. In the end, you are not separate from life. You are the way life sees itself. You are the way life feels itself. You are the way life remembers itself. And when you finally realize this, your entire perception shifts. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" And instead you ask, "What is consciousness learning through this moment?" In that question, you awaken. In that awakening, you return to wholeness. And in that wholeness, you discover the truth. Life isn't outside you. Life is moving through you. And you are how life becomes aware of itself.